Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Down. Here we are for another one of our Sons of the Forest video. Now this is kind of a very short, very quick follow-on to the Twitch VOD episodes that we put up. And this is the massive solo build that we're doing, but in a chilled out way. It's kind of the way that I'd recommend any beginner to play, or anyone that's not played Sons of the Forest, or anyone that just wants to build a big structure but without playing on peaceful mode. So just as a reinforce, we are not playing on peaceful mode. So just thought I'd give you an update. The whole build isn't finished, but I thought you'd kind of like to see where we are. So the first day we went and we got all the equipment. So while we just load that up, always happens when you first log into the game. We're playing on a custom game, right? So to make it chilled but still have enemies, we've got low enemy damage, high player damage, realistic day length, realistic season length. Right, that's what we're playing with, but there are still enemies in the caves. So the first day, we didn't build any base. We just went round and got every single item in the game. And you can see here, we've got golden mask, crossbow, sled. We've got the compound bow, the chainsaw. We've got can openers, 3D printed bottles, shotguns with the rail, rope guns, all the GPS locators, stacks full of arrows. We've got the pistol with its laser sight, silencer, and flashlight. We've got some spare ones. We've got the revolver, the taser gun, the catapult, a whole bunch of other bits of equipment. We've got the machete, the stun baton, the cross, the binoculars. Further over here, you can see the katana, the golf club, the spade, the fire axe, the modern axe, which is critical for any big build. Recommend the modern axe. The reason being is if you play this the way that I've played the game, which is doing everything on day one, you want to be swinging the modern axe to chop down the trees to build your strength up, because that's how you're going to build your strength up the quickest. And if we come around here, we've got the rebreather, we've got the golden armor, we've got the wetsuit, all the clothes, tactical jacket and so on. And we actually did get the achievement fashionista for getting all the clothing in the game. We've got a bunch of creepy armor left there. And that's not all we've got, because we've been storing a bunch of stuff as well. But we've essentially, day one, we went and got everything on the game. Now, playing with realistic day length, so it was easy to do that in the time frame. So what we're going to do is we're gonna come out. Oh, there we go. This is always the problem when you first load into the game. It seems to be very laggy until you've done everything and it's all squared away. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out all the way out first to have a look at what this build is, and you can see how many trees we've chopped down. There's been no spawning of items, right? Every item in the game has been gathered, chopping down trees and so on. So you can see how massive this build is. You can see how many trees and vegetation we've chopped down for sticks to get this. And if we come all the way around over here, we can see, there we go, we can see how big the structure is. Now that structure, if you actually count it, bearing in mind there's like a basement floor, then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total levels all the way to the top. And we have not finished, right? But the main structure, everything you see inside the wall from a wall perspective is finished. What are we doing next? Still to build. Well, we're just beginning our defensive perimeter around the wall, which is going to be a double layer of spikes here that's going to go all around the wall. So you can imagine how many sticks and rocks we're going to need to do that. And it is going to be a double layer of spikes, which are going to be interlocking. Where the gate areas are, and there's 4 gates in the wall. At the moment, we're just putting a double layer of spikes in case we get raided, but we're eventually going to create almost like a mini tunnel coming out with a couple of branchways, and then spikes, reinforced spikes coming off that to make any gate tricky to get in. We got Kelvin there who has a mission to fill out our log bins, which hopefully he is doing. And then there's even the opportunity of putting another defensive wall around with a bunch of lookout towers on that. So we've kind of got 2 walls. That would be a longer term goal. Obviously, you can imagine how many logs it will take and the zipline network that we'll need to farm all the logs needed to do that, and it would be immense. So let's go and close this gate here. I like to keep my gates closed. We are currently on day 3, 7:47 in the morning. We've just hit day 3 and we've built all of this. There is clearly a lot of optimization to take place in the game. It does seem that the longer you play the game, the more it sort of settles down and stabilizes. But when you first log in, it does need a lot of optimization. But it's in early access, right? It's in early access. So that's what we've got. And you can see at the moment, actually, we'll look at the zip lines later on, but this is one of the zip line networks I'd set up to farm sticks and trees, which was a zip line over here, farming those trees, sending the logs up the zip line, and then up the zip line into that top level. But we're not going to use that yet. Let's go in at the base level and look at what we've got. So I really like the fact they've now added gates to our defensive wall. That is excellent. I don't know what Kelvin's doing. Here he comes. I might leave the door open for Kelvin. So what have we got on the outside of the structure? Right, let's bring him inside so that we know he's safe. Are you coming in, or are you going to stay there? No, stay there. Right, so we've built ourselves a nice little fire here with a bench to relax. Kelvin is often found sitting on that bench. We did build across the water, so we've got water running underneath, but we were able to build across it. Another gate here of where, oh, there's Virginia. We're going to be able to build, again, a double layer of spikes running across here. And actually, we're going to be able to just create a wall of spikes across here and traps. The cannibals don't seem to go into the shallow water here. They don't seem to go into it. My word, this optimization is driving me bananas. So we can easily go in this water, and in fact I do have a fish trap down here. You can see the rotten fish, so we'll be able to get rid of that. But I've got a fish trap in the water there, but it does get deep pretty quickly, and the cannibals don't cross it, don't seem to go over it, and it doesn't freeze in the winter. So I maintain that this is one of the best locations in the game. Not quite sure. So, and then down here, if we switch to the binoculars, so just down there, you can make out that area there. There's a cave. That's the rope gun cave, and there's a bunch of crates that spawn outside, and there's a couple of crates that spawn here as well. So you're pretty much in the thick of everything that you would possibly want here. Right, let's close that gate. There's Kelvin. See, this is often where Kelvin will go to take a break, which is pretty good. And then you can see we've got a stack of firewood here. For some reason, I wasn't able to stack the firewood inside, as in a proper stack, inside the building itself, which I found kind of odd. But you can see we've got a lot of spikes. It's a big long wall. There's another gate there. We've got our lookout towers. 5 lookout towers that go around the whole structure. Every lookout tower has a wall-mounted torch, and that's so that even in the evenings, we know where doors are, right? So if there's a door, and you can see here, every door has a wall-mounted torch next to it, which means that if you're at night time and you're running around like a mad thing trying to defend, you know exactly where the doors are. And what we did here is we could see that we had this little cliff area here. We can actually run straight across here, no problem, and it's very easy to move across. We've even got a door above it, and that is because it's only 1 story. We can come out of there, drop down, and run across. Now, 4 gates plus zip lines. Absolutely intentional. I want as many escape exits as possible, which I think is important. Now, what you can see here is this looked like, when I was first building it, a deceptively flat area. But actually, by raising it up, we were able to create an entirely flat, large structure by chopping the logs down and keeping it flat. And you can see that my sort of basement area gets lower and lower as we go across, which is excellent. We obviously used the bracing struts One thing I would do differently is, and it's not clear, if we look in the book and we go to the reinforced struts here, now it only shows that you can do it taking 2 logs out. You can actually do this with 3. So I could have made the lengths here longer and saved even more logs potentially in doing that. So that's something that was a learning experience, that we can actually go further across. You can see where there were 2 logs coming down, we could have actually done it for 3. So it would be nice if the book showed up to 3 logs to do that. And then if we look here, at first I didn't know that you didn't have to put cross pieces in to put a floor in. So we actually saved a ton of logs by not putting any cross piece in. As long as you've got one line next to another line, you can put a floor in. All right, you don't need any logs going across. So again, building a build like this, you need to be as efficient as possible with the logs. Right, you need to be efficient as possible. Okay, so that's kind of the outside. Let's move up into the first story. So we come up the ramp. We've got a door. It is a lockable door. Now, again, every door has windows right next to it, so that we can lock that door, and before we unlock it, we can see what's outside, right, before we go out. And then if you look at the bottom floor here, we've got 4 doors, one pretty much in each corner. And we've got wall-mounted torches all the way inside to give light, and the intention will be to put more of the skull lamps, right, to get at this bright and inside. So the first floor is general storage. We've got 3 drying racks in here. We've got 2 stick holders. We've got some large stone holders, 2 bone holders in there. So at the moment, the ground floor will be that sort of general storage. Stuff which, if I lost, I wouldn't be that sad about. It's very easy to get. Sticks, stones, fish, meat, even bones. Very easy to farm that stuff. But you need a place to store it. And the first floor is general storage. And I wanted it inside, so I could have put it in the basement area. But it's just outside. And enemies, if they are going to spawn in the base, they're going to spawn on the floor, right? Elevation seems to be key in this game to helping you defend against the enemies. So general storage here on the first floor, and you can see where again we've used the reinforcing struts to get rid of pillars to create as much space. And again, we could have been even more efficient with how we did that. Like, I'd have actually liked to move these pillars over one more and have a bigger inner area here. That's a learning experience, and now we've done it, we'll know for the future. And again, we've got a few windows looking out at sort of key areas, again, either side of the doors, looking at the gate there. Again, sort of half around, looking at this gate and either side of this door, looking across the forest. So we've got plenty of observation on this essentially ground floor. And I call this the ground floor, with underneath being the basement area. So moving up to the next level. So the way the stairs work, you can't seem to cover them over, right? Because you can't pull any logs across here. So you can't really build a roof unless you were to start making sort of angular ones. And I didn't want to do that. You can make it look very pretty, but it means you're actually losing some space on the structure. Now, we have a little cubby hole here. Again, we can come in, we can look, again, either side of the door when it's locked. So we can clearly see if anybody's coming up these stairs towards us. This is the living area. Very few windows, right? The only windows we have are the ones either side of that door and either side of this door. Okay, this is the storage for food. So we've got food, energy drinks, energy bars, all that sort of thing. That's the storage for that. Again, wall-mounted torches going round. And we have ourselves a table with a couple of benches in our sort of dining room area here. And then we've got a bed for Kelvin, Virginia, and myself. Didn't have to do that. Obviously, you only need one bed if you want to save and you want to sleep. But I wanted to kind of role play a little bit with it as well. Now we've got another door here, and you go, okay, so where's this door taking us? Well, you come out here, you can actually come out of this door straight on top of a lookout tower, which is very nice without having to climb up. That's incredibly useful. this lookout tower is designed to defend this gate, right? And so you can defend pretty much the wall all the way from that corner, all the way around, all the way over the gate, and all the way up to sort of the river area here. So it's a perfect placement to defend this gate, and you can shoot down easily on anyone coming after that gate. And then we can come back in. So the other door we have is this door over here. Now, you come out of this door and you go, whoa, there's nothing there. But actually, it's very easy to drop down onto that platform, through that gate and out. So it creates a really nice exit, but nobody can come in through that door. So this is very much an escape route door. So that is essentially the first floor. So as we move up, again, a nice open area here. Another torch, again, by every single door. Windows by every single door. This is more of a covered observation area. There's quite a lot of windows here where we can see all the way around our structure. This is going to be our sort of general item storage area. So what we've got here is 3 shelves at the moment, but we could have plenty more. You can see general items. We've got rope, watches, tape, wire, plenty of oxygen bottles, tarps, flares, meds, C4, circuit boards, whole bunch of berries and things, some zip lines, coins. So all of that useful stuff. And the reason I like to store it is because, you know, you're out and about doing things, collecting. It's no good if your bag's full and you can't collect it. You know, I clearly need more circuit boards, you know, to make more time bombs and stuff like that. So, you know, there's always room to be picking up more and storing it until you actually need it. Though at this point we have done every single thing in the story apart from the final cave. So we've got a sort of a storage area for raw materials. We've got a storage area for food, and this is our storage area for general materials for crafting. All right, and let's move up to the next level again. Torch by the door and windows looking out so we can see before we unlock the door. So you can see the importance of the torches by the door. You instantly know where you are. Now, on this floor, this is our weapons and ammo floor, and armor. So you can see we've got 3 mannequins, which don't appear to work right now to store armor, but hopefully they will fix that. You can see how high we're getting. We are, you know, at least 2 levels now above the lookout towers, which are pretty high. You can see we've got 3 mannequins there ready to start storing armor, but as it is right now, you can see we've got stun ammo, we've got carbon fiber, 3D printed and crafted arrows, we've got time bombs, grenades, Molotov cocktails, a bunch of 9mm, some slugs and buckshot, and some crossbow arrows. And then over here we've got some hide armor, some bone armor, a whole bunch of tech armor that we've made, and space for plenty more creepy armor, tech armor, that sort of thing. I want to make sure I'm stacked up on creepy and tech armor as much as possible. But I will build bone and hide armor. You know, you shouldn't underestimate in a pinch if you needed to get some armor quick. Having it ready-made on the shelf will be useful. And you can see we've got loads of space. I mean, in reality, a building this big is for, you know, you could have 8 players easily utilizing or more the storage space and everything in here. But hopefully, as you know, the game progresses, there'll be more items to put inside. So, but you know, it's no bad thing having plenty of space. You know, suppose you were in this floor and there was a fingers coming up through the door. You know, I like to fight the fingers with a spear, funny enough. I find a spear very easy to defeat fingers if you're not using shotguns and so on. As long as you've got room to move. And so having these big open rooms gives you room to move around and fight should you need to. Okay, so now moving up to the next layer again. Wall torch, door, windows. And you can see now how high we're getting. Those lookout towers look a long way down. This is our conservatory / internal garden area. So you can see here we've got 8 planters here, which we can walk down and in and around, and we've got everything that we're building here. So if you look inside the bag, you know, we've got blackberries, we've got blueberries, guarana, yarrow, chicory, I know we've got some aloe vera, growing there as well. So we got a whole bunch of stuff growing and space for more. So if there's plants that we're growing, plants that we're not growing, we've got plenty of space to add more of these. Now, the other thing that we've got on this level, this is my also collector level for logs. So we've got the log storage outside that Kelvin's getting, but if I need a lot of logs and I need to use them for internal things, then we've got a zip line, which doubles up as an external escape route. We've kind of left this bit open. Again, a wall torch here to denote where the entrance is. And we got a zip line that runs all the way to a post out there, as we shall demonstrate. In an emergency, you need to evacuate. You can zip line straight down to this post and start sprinting off to this area here where there's a river running down. You've got the trees over there. If we go down this way, this zip line here, that's purely for moving logs, but we could set that higher and you could have either, you could move down to the bunker where the 3D printer is and so on. So lots of opportunities there. So let's now zip back up. You can see how massive the structure is. I dread to think how many logs. Right, consider that every single section of wall takes 6 logs. Plus the internal ones, and you need 2 logs per square of floor. So, yes, it's a lot of logs, ladies and gents, that I have cut down. Right, that I have cut down. Believe me, I did most of the work. Kelvin is useful, but slow. Right, so now we're going to move up out of the main structure into what I call my covered observation deck. So, a covered observation deck, what does that mean? It means that we can basically see everywhere, but we do have a roof. So if it is raining or anything else, you can still be under cover. So we have that all the way around here, and we can see everywhere, right? We can look straight down. We can see our walls as well from up here, which is very nice. So you've got lots of sight lines. We've got another zip line escape route. All right, this time going to what I would call roughly the north end of the structure. Again, a wall torch here, denoting kind of where the entryway is, so you can see where you're coming to. But here we have, say, another zip line escape route. And you can see how many trees we have cut down. And it goes all the way up there. And we actually had a whole zip line network where we zip lined the logs down and then finally up onto the structure, and that's how we did it. So you can see again how much we've cleared. But as we move around here, you can also see we haven't touched the trees on this side, and there's an intention for that, because over here I'm going to start building a treehouse network. That treehouse network is going to go all the way up over there and all the way up to the river and that sort of lake you can see at the top there, which has got a waterfall with a huge amount of coffins, but is a massive, massive source of rope and cloth. Huge amounts of rope and cloth. Like, you'll fill your bags with rope up there and you'll have a whole ton of cloth to go with it. And that's also where you would find the winter jacket. There's a camp at the base there as well. So my plan is to, one, build a tree house over here, and then a platform, and that we'll zip line from this structure across here, and then we'll be able to zip line to platforms all the way up to that waterfall area. That's the plan. And then this way, while there is a zip line here at the moment which takes us down towards the cave, the zip line gun cave, we're also going to have platforms to be able to zip line, and I want to be able to zip line all the way down, utilizing tree platforms down past the green dot there, which is the 3D print bunker. So I want to be able to zip line to the 3D print bunker and then down and on to the beach. So I want 2 zipline networks. You can see we've got a lot of work still to do. Treehouse's zipline network going north, or what I would call north at the moment. Let's see if we actually have a big map. There you go. There's no north or south on this, but zipline network going up that way, and then a zipline network going down that way. So giving us easy traverse of the area. So this is our covered observation area, and then we move up to the open observation area, and it's quite nice up here. Look at that, we've got some log benches, we've got a nice fire up here, and that's what I was saying. I wanted to put some firewood down in this area under cover. It wouldn't let me stack it as a firewood stack. I just have to chuck it in the corner and despawn, which was a shame. We did go down the beach, picked up a turtle shell, so we do have a rain collector so that we can have water up here if we need, and we can even refill our water bottle from it, which is very nice. We have our bird houses here, so we can collect feathers so that we can continually make crafted arrows. And then it goes all the way up to a final tower platform, which down and overlooks this gate here. We couldn't build a lookout tower that covered that gate. Now, I'm not too worried. It's quite a narrow pathway they can come across, and we can line it with spikes and traps, but it does enable us to look down on that location. You can see this essentially is the 8th level up here. It's only small. And, you could keep going up and up and up to all sorts, but I wanted to make it functional, and I didn't want any of these slanted roofs. I wanted to be able to walk on the roof, essentially. A bit like a skyscraper in that regard. Flat roof. I want to be able to use the roof to move around. If I made this a slanted roof, it becomes unusable. So I wanted it flat, rain collecting, bird feather collecting, relaxing up here. And if we come right up here, and we can use our binoculars. Look at this. Look at this, guys. There's the rope gun cave, right? You can see that tarp that's put up there. That denotes where the crates are. And if you go just across the river, you can see the other 2 crates that are over there with stuff in. And what I do know is if we come over here, there is a roadway, a pathway that comes up here, and that is where we will get patrols of cannibals. Typical attack routes for cannibals are coming along this area here towards that gate. The creepies, when they raid, they will often come here and come to the front gate here. And then the second area that the cannibals attack, if they don't go across the path, they run around the lake and they will attack in this gated area down here. So you can see the binoculars here giving us a huge amounts of vision, and you can see how far we've chopped things down. There's another river that runs down here, and you can see there's a camp. It's not really a camp, it's deserted. I've actually never seen any cannibals there, but we've chopped and we can see it absolutely clearly. But I know it's not a camp, it just seems to be abandoned. But we can see that, and you can see the river that runs all the way down that way. So there you go, ladies and gents. Hopefully that's given you a bit of insight into my build here. We've tried to be log efficient where possible. We've got steps leading up everywhere, and this is a massive build solo, and we're not finished yet. As I say, you can see down there we're already building our first set of perimeter spikes. We've got a lot to go. We've got to reinforce those ones we've got out, but we're going to do that all the way around the structure. Spikes all the way around, and then we're going to do it again with a double layer of spikes all the way around, and then we will start thinking about whether we want to build a secondary. Then we need to build the entrances to the gates, as I said, that sort of tunnel portcullis-y style system with traps and things in to funnel mobs into, with spikes and things around. Plenty of guides of how to do that with angles and turns and so on. And then we'll think about whether we want to put in a secondary defensive wall with lookout towers all the way around. And then we move on to our treehouse network. So I'll give you more updates as we go along, but I thought you'd like to see the main structure. Pretty much everything inside these walls is now built, and we've even got pretty much all the furniture we need right now. If we look at what we still need from a furniture perspective, let's look at this. So none of this, that's fires. We've already got all of that. Got all of that, not bothering with those skull lamps. There's the spikes that we need. Not bothering with any of that or any of that. So you can see, so that's the bit I was saying, it only shows you can do that with 2, but you can actually do it with 3, so that's something to remember. Stairs, ramps, defensive walls, door locks, Not using any of that. Rope bridge, not using any of that. Firewood, we can't stack that indoors. And then if we switch mode and we come over here and look at what we've got. There we go. Starting at the top, don't need any of that. So lookout towers, maybe we'll put, if we do build a secondary defensive wall, we'll have lookout towers. I always like to have lookout towers that look over the wall. You can then shoot down on anyone that is trying to attack it. 60 logs though for a lookout tower. And we have 5 already, right? So it just gives you an idea of how many logs just for the lookout towers. Tree platforms, we'll be looking to build a whole bunch of these all the way. That's going to be our network where we're going to zip line all the way up to the waterfall, all the way down to the beach and the 3D printer bunker. We might build a couple of these on the way. That'll provide additional refuge for us with items in. The one downside to these shelters is you can't remove the rope from it. So the cannibals can climb up the rope. So I'm going to, at the base of every one of these that has a rope hanging down, that's going to have anything that could be stored, we're going to have to put like a reinforced set of spikes around that rope. Furniture wise, stick bed we've got, stick chair, maybe we could put a few chairs somewhere. Bone chair doesn't really interest me as much. Bone chandelier, I'm only planning on putting that in the dining room. Wall torches, we've got a few more of those to build, and ceiling skull lamps, we've got lots of those still to put in the structure to make sure that we can move around at night in plenty of light. Table and benches are already done. Storage areas are already done. We've got all of those. Shelves everywhere already done. Don't need the path or the stick path. Rain catcher, we've already got one of those on the roof. Birdhouse, we've got one. Scarecrow, not needed. Gardening, we've got standing planters everywhere. And then we just need to put, I think I need to put one more fish trap up. And then I'd like to build a bunch of these fly swatter traps. Essentially fly swat traps are all the entrances to the the base, along with this bone maker trap. So combination of bone maker and fly swatter traps, which a fly swatter trap will kill a normal cannibal in one hit. And there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a quick, reasonably quick, half an hour update on where we've got to with our main structure build. The main structure is done. And we will come back and I will do another video at least once I've got all the defenses up, and then probably another one after that once we've got our zipline network. So you can see a monstrous build for a single person in a solo campaign, but we are doing it on a reasonably chill mode. We haven't been raided yet, but at realistic day length, it is only day 3. Right, it's only day 3. So I'm not expecting to be raided in any reasonable numbers or with any big mobs for a while yet, which allows me to finish my defensive preparations before moving on to building our tree house zipline network. If you really enjoyed this video, guys, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, then give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. And I do refer everyone to the other videos I've got in terms of there's the 4 episodes, which is basically a live Twitch stream of me building the base of this structure. And this is also the same location as my best base location video. But the difference is I spawned on the beach instead of here, so there's no crashed helicopter here to build around, which is no bad thing. So please check those out as well. And I still do think this is the best base location in the game that doesn't abuse mob pathing. You have to defend it properly, but you've got everything you need in terms of resources. If you want to see more content, please hit the subscribe button. It's free for you to do, but it means a lot for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Hour. Tune back in for some more Let's Play, First Play, and Sons of the Forest, Total Warhammer 3 World of Tanks videos coming up soon in the future.